And now we can't hear you.
Oh, we can't hear you. I can't hear you. Oh, we still can't hear you. No, I can't hear you at all.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can't hear you now.
Okay, awesome sauce. So you missed oh my goodness. Sorry, sorry, sorry. So yeah, I did not hear me or see my screen for 25 minutes. I apologize. My computer shut down and I guess all of my settings have to be reset. I apologize. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Okay, can you see my screen now? Okay. You can
Yeah.
see me, you can hear me, you can see my screen. This is a hard, terrible way for me to end my week. This is the highlight of my day when I get to actually teach because I just listen all day long. All right, here.
I came to ask you a few questions. What? I made you an equation. It came with an expression. Yeah. Define expression. Just a way of telling you a number or a value. Just a different way, like Q minus 7. And then extend it. To make that an equation, need an equal sign. And then another value right beside it to complete the problem. So if Q minus 7 would equal 55, I'd have to find the value Q. And that's how I would solve it. Do you know what to call it? I'm thinking of a word. I need the Q alone. The 7's gotta go. We call it isolation. It helps us simplify equations. Take the 7 to both sides. Now 55 is gonna be changed. I know you guys can do the math. What 55 plus 7 makes. And now the Q is by itself. So all we gotta do is think. 55 plus 7 equals 62. We got it. 62 is Q. Q is 62. We on it. We're gonna try to solve for the X, so we isolate. Find a way to put it by itself. I know that if I add, multiply, divide, or minus, make it equal. Gotta do it to the other side as well. We're gonna try to solve for the X, so we isolate. Find a way to put it by itself. I know that if I add, multiply, divide, or minus, make it equal. Gotta do it to the other side as well. I got another problem, let's break it down. 5a plus 13 equals 38, be patient now. The variable a is stuck with 5, the coefficient. We're on a mission, isolation helps us. Listen now, first thing is for sure, the 13's gotta go. The 5a must divide it, but that's second in the flow. But why? Isn't division the proper action first? But no, this time the order operations is inverse. We gon' subtract 13, that's on both sides, both sides. Gotta make it even on one side. 5a, the other now is 25. Now the coefficients, all that's left, so now we can divide. Yeah, now we can divide by 5, that's on both sides. Draw 2 lines and under them 2 5s. And when we do the math, man, it's easy, yeah, we know. 25 split by 5, a is 5, I gotta go, yeah. We're gonna try to solve for the X, so we isolate. Find a way to put it by itself. I know that if I add, multiply, divide, or minus, make it equal. Gotta do it to the other side as well, We're gonna try to solve for the X, so we isolate. Find a way to put it by itself. I know that if I add, multiply, divide, or minus, make it equal. Gotta do it to the other side as well,
Yay! Okay, still can see me, hear me? Everything's copacetic? All right. Another thing, my whole day is crazy. My doorbell rang at 6 in the morning because the painters are gonna paint the house outside the house, and they had to pressure wash and scrape. So it just sounds like my house is under construction, and it started 6 this morning. So, all right, thank you guys. You're awesome. I'm gonna sleep like a baby champion tonight. This has been a crazy day for me. All right, they might have, maybe they knocked the wire off of the internet or something. Maybe that's why my computer crashed like that. Okay, let's do the vocabulary game. We might not get to all of them depending on how many. Oh, it's not that many. We could get through this. We're gonna try and solve for the X. So we blank, find a way to put it by itself. It's blurry. Oh boy. Let me know if that's gonna help. No, still blurry. Yes, it's still blurry. Oh man. It got worse. Oh boy. Okay. You can't see the words at all. Okay. No problem. You guys are gonna see everything on my home screen. So I apologize if you see students' names until I get my life together here. Hold on one second. Okay, can you see it now? All right. You're gonna try and solve for the X. So we blank, find a way to put it by itself. What word goes there? What's our first step? Variable, express, or isolate? All right, remember I said, think of island. An island is by itself. Island starts with IS, so there's the word isolate. If we put you in isolation, you're all by yourself and it's not healthy. Human people do not like being in isolation. Look at what has happened since we've been on lockdown because of the COVID pandemic. People have expressed lots of mental health problems. So if you're putting something by itself, it's in isolation, all by its lonesome. So that's the first step in solving an equation. Okay, we isolate that variable. 3 plus 3 equals 6. Is that order of operations? Is that an equation or is that a coefficient? What word goes best with that picture? Yes, isolate. Thank you, Riley. Is that an example of order of operations, an equation, or a coefficient? Okay, remember that anytime I said you see an equal sign, which is right here. How can I annotate? Oh, let me annotate. Right here, there's an equal sign. So that is an example of an equation. Yes, Adolfo. Anytime you see an equal sign, it is an equation. If it was just 3 plus 3, that would be an expression. Oops. To use inverse operations to get a variable alone or on one side of an equation, what are we doing? Are we expressing? Are we variabling or isolating? We use the inverse operation to get the variable all alone by itself on one side of an equation. What are we doing? Yes, we are isolating. Thank you. Yes, that's the first step of solving. Isolate that variable. Define blank, just the way of telling you a number or a value, just a different way, like Q minus 7. There's no equal sign. So is that an isolate, an expression, or a coefficient? Q minus 7 without an equal sign. Q is a variable. Minus 7 is a term. It's even a constant. A coefficient is going to be in front of the variable. Remember, the coefficient cohabitate, they're married so they could multiply. So the Q, the 7 would be in front of the Q if it was a coefficient. So it's just Q minus 7 with no equal sign. So that would be an example of an expression. An expression cannot be solved because there's no equal sign. You can only solve an equation if it has an equal sign. The number that a variable is multiplied by, like 6 in the term 6z. Now look at where that 6 is. Is that a variable, an equation, or a coefficient? Yes, Adolfo, good job. They cohabitate, they got married, so they can multiply. Yes. Keeping the blank in mind, Amarita multiplied first and then subtracted. What is that PEMDAS called? Coefficient, order of operations, or expression? Multiply, divide, add, subtract, parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. PEMDAS, what is that? Coefficient, order of operations, or expression? Yes, those are the rules of how to solve an equation. Let's listen to this. I don't like that piano. A symbol stands, it's the placeholder for a quantity that can change or have any one of a set of values. What is that called when we use a symbol in math? Is that an expression, a coefficient, or a variable? A symbol could be like a letter of the alphabet. Yes, it's called a variable. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Riley. Awesome, awesome. The blank of y is 17y. The 17 is what? The expression, the variable, or coefficient? What is the 17 in the term 17y? $17y is a term, not really an expression, because it's not, well, it is because it's multiply. Okay, I would take that. The 17y is an expression, but we're just asking what is the 17? The y is the variable because that's the symbol or the letter. What is the 17? It's married to the y, it's gonna multiply. Yeah, the number is the coefficient, the letter is the variable. Good job. All right, look at this. Parentheses, exponents are first. Multiplication or division is second. Third is addition or subtraction. That's the what? Equation, variable, or order of operations. PEMDAS. What is that? PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Yes, that's the rules. You have to do parentheses and exponents before you can multiply or divide. You have to do multiplication or division before you can add or subtract if you're solving an equation. Awesome. All right. 5a plus 13 equals 38. Be patient now. The blank a is stuck with 5, the coefficient. What is a? Isolate, expression, or variable? The a is right here. Oops. Oops. Oh, it won't let me annotate. The a is right here. What is the a? Yes, the variable. Good job. All right, 2 more. 4 plus 3. There's no equal sign. Is this an equation, a coefficient, or an expression? No equal sign. Can't solve it, even though we know off the top of our head what 4 plus 3 is. We cannot solve this because it does not have an equal sign. It's not a coefficient because there's no variables. So remember, if it's not an equation, let me see if I can annotate. Please let me draw on this screen. I want to draw. Okay, so 4 plus 3 or 4 plus 3 equals. 4 plus 3 equals, this is an equation because it has an equal sign. When it doesn't have an equal sign, it's just expressing. Can't solve it. So it's an expression. If it's at 4a, then the 4 would be the coefficient and the a would be the variable. Because the coefficient is the number that's married to the variable. Okay? The only way we get it is to keep going over it. So it's okay. We'll keep going over this for a couple of weeks until it's like ingrained in your head. And it takes time. It took me years. I started hating school when we got to algebra because I couldn't get it. All right, I wrote a blank to show that 2 amounts were equal. When you're showing that things are equal, what kind of term is that? Is that an equation, an expression, or a coefficient? Equal. Equal, that's a hint. Yes, the light bulb. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yes, that's the hint. The EQ, the EQ. Wiki. Anytime you see the equal sign, it's an equation. Thank you, Tyreek. You made my day. And I was having a bad one. Thank you. All right, let's listen to this beat. That one in there better. All right, I'm so proud of you guys. I want to model really quickly. Can you see that? Let me show you something else really quick. I don't know how many of you are actually going to the dashboard Canvas, but under math resource, where I post the announcements for the live class videos, I just want you to understand that all of these worksheets that we use in class, let me show you from last week because This is not posted yet, so you don't see this one. So that's the link to the video where you'll get to see the Flocabulary, the brain pop, and the Quizizz link that we did in class. But it also has a link to all of the worksheets that go along with the Flocabulary. So here's the vocabulary cards, and you can use these as study guides, okay? And then the sheet that we're about to work on, where you can practice solving equations, is also here. So it's right here. I don't know why it's hanging out on the side, but when you download it, you can rotate it to the right side, okay? So I just want you to know you can download these and practice. I did it again with the answers so that you have a way of, like, if you're practicing and you're getting something wrong, you can see and kind of trace your steps and kind of figure out where it is that you're making a mistake, okay? So I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that you have that available to you to help you practice. All right, so last week, we introduced this equation. It's an equation we know because it has an equal sign. 6p plus 4 equals 40. We have no idea what p is. It's a variable. We have to isolate this p to figure out what p represents, okay? So how many terms are in this equation? Last week we said 3. 6p is one term, 4 is one term, and 40 is one term. 1, 2, 3. What is the variable? That's the letter. It's p. What is the coefficient? The coefficient is married to the variable so they can multiply. And that's the 6. 6 is hanging out right next to the p as husband and wife. They're married together, okay? So the first step is to isolate the variable. We want to get the p by itself. So we have to get rid of this part of the equation. How do we get rid of it? If you add 4 cookies and you eat 4 cookies, you get 0 cookies. So to get this by itself, we isolate it by using inverse operation. That means the opposite. So if this is a plus, the opposite of adding is subtracting, okay? That gets it to 0, that makes it go away. But you don't want your equation to look like a seesaw. You want your equation to stay balanced. You don't want it to go like this. So whatever you do on one side of the equal sign, you have to do the same exact thing to the other side of the equal sign. So you took away 4 on this side, you have to take away 4 on this side. You know what? I'm terrible because I should have just did it down here so you can see. All right, so take away 4 on this side. Goodbye, that gets you to 0. Have to take away 4 on this side. 40 take away 4 is 36. This is all gone, only 6p is left. The variable is still not by itself, so we have some more work to do. Remember, the coefficient and the variable are married together so they can multiply. So the opposite of 6 multiplied by p is dividing it. So we're going to divide this by 6. That cancels it out. Now the p is all by itself. But now our equation is lopsided because we only did one thing to one side. We have to do the same thing to the other side to bring our equation back to balance. So we divide it by 6 on this side. We're going to divide by 6 on this side. 36 divided by 6 is 6. So P represents 6 in this equation. And remember my plug it in commercial? I forgot to look that up. We ran out of time. I'm gonna do it next week, I promise. The plug it in. You take your variable answer and plug it into your equation. So this is 6. Instead of a P now, we know that the P is representing 6. So when I put that in parentheses, that means multiply. And when you see it standing next to each other, that means multiply as well. So 6 times 6 plus 4 equals 40. We're gonna see now if our equation is balanced on both sides. It has to be equal on both sides to be correct, okay? 6 times 6 is 36. Plus 4, sorry, I'm not the best annotator, equals 40. 36 plus 4 is 40. 40 equals 40. Is that the same on both sides of the equation? Yes, so you did it correctly, okay? I don't know if you could grab some paper and pencil and try and do these on your own, but I want to do one with you in class. We didn't get a chance to do these last week, so I'm gonna do one, just one of them with you. I'm gonna pick this one because this one looks busy. So 9y minus 2 times 3 equals 30, all right? Remember PEMDAS. Gotta do the parentheses first. That's just the law. That's the order of operations. So we see some parentheses here. So 2 times 3 is 6. We cleared those parentheses. 9y minus 6 equals 30. That looks a little bit cleaner and easier to work with. We want to isolate this variable. We want to get y all by itself. So the first thing we have to get rid of is this term right here. It's a minus 6, so we have to do the opposite. If I took away 6 cookies, to get them back, I have to bake and add 6 more cookies, and that gets me back to 0. So that's wiped out. Now only the 9 and the y is left on this side of the equation. But it's unbalanced because I only did one thing to one side. So what I did to one side, I have to do it to this side. I added 6 on this side of the equal sign. I have to add 6 to this side. 30 plus 6 is 36. We're getting smaller, but that variable is not isolated, so we have to do something else. This is a coefficient, the number 9, next to the variable y means multiply. The opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide 9y by 9. That cancels it out and makes y be by itself. Uh-oh. My equal equation is off balance. I only did it on one side. Whatever I do on one side of the equation, I have to do it to the other side. So if I divide it by 9 on this side, I have to divide 36 by 9 on this side. What is 9 what is 36 divided by 9? You get 4. We're gonna plug it in. I think I'm gonna use the text box. I hope I can use the text box. because my handwriting is terrible. We're gonna plug it in. Our original equation was 9. We're replacing the variable y with 4 because we figured out that y is representing a 4 minus 2 times 3 equals 30. Let's clear those parentheses. 9 times 4 is 36. Minus 2 times 3 is 6 equals 30. 36 take away 6 is 30 equals 30 on both sides. So is that correct? Yay, we did it. Does anybody have any questions? Was that like so confusing? I see Tyreek got the answer in the chat. Go Tyreek, go Tyreek, go, go. Does anybody have any questions? If not, I'm gonna let you loose and let you practice on your own using the quizzes. Everything was clear as mud, clear as gravy. How you feeling? You ready to try this on your own? Any questions? No? No questions? I'm a good teacher? Does that mean you guys are smart students? Probably that you're smart students. All right, here we go. Here is the link. Remember, you can take your time. The Quizizz has 15 minutes per question. Use your calculator if you need to. I will give you a link to an online calculator. And when you're done with the quizzes, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Let me see. Where's my little? Here's my calculator. I appreciate you guys being patient and flexible and sticking around today while I was having all my tech issues. I'm going to stop talking so that you can concentrate, but here's an online calculator. Link. Good luck. I'm so proud of you guys. And I can stop sharing, right? No. You know what? It might be my screensaver. I'm trying to be so fancy.